Hello and welcome back. In this chapter, we are going to be discussing deceptive communication. So, exploring deceptive communication, the first thing that comes to mind when I think of deception, dishonesty, I think of certain people that work in certain sales industries or perhaps politics who are very good at being dishonest or being deceptive, sometimes by not saying the whole truth or making outright lies or assertions. So, these are the negative connotations associated with being dishonest, but taking away the negative value judgment placed upon dishonesty will help us to make a better examination of what deception is all about. And so the text lists about 10 or 12 different items describing what purposes deception serves, but I've boiled it down into two main categories here. And the first is trying to achieve something, and the second is trying to avoid something. And so, when trying to achieve something, protecting one's interests, or on the extreme end, conning. Now, I've taught for a while, and I know that I've had students, certainly no one in this class, but I have had students that have generated excuses for why they were unable to complete their work in a timely manner. Um, and that's trying to achieve something. Trying to avoid something, you could probably say that same thing. A student making up stuff to try to avoid getting a bad grade. Typically, we see in little kids lying when they realize they've done something wrong and don't want to get in trouble, all the way up through criminals who are trying to avoid incarceration. On the lighter end is trying to not hurt someone's feelings, trying or being deceptive or dishonest, and to not hurt someone's feelings, maybe to be more socially acceptable. The little picture I have here is just kind of a funny little comic of honesty on the internet, and the guy or the ladies, the guy saying, "You're a model, cool. I'm a Chippendales dancer. I also race speedboats. What's your sign?" So, yeah. So to define deception, this would be deception is the knowing and intentional transmission of information to create a false belief in the hearer. And these are the elements of deception that I've listed here. The sender must know the information is false, and so if the person sharing the information doesn't know that they are being dishonest, it isn't really considered dishonesty. It would be more ignorance. The second is the sender must be transmitting the information on purpose, so the person must be intentionally working to provide false information. And finally, the sender must be attempting to make the receiver believe the information, to sell what it is that they're trying to convince the hearer of. The text lists a number of forms of lying. If you're really interested in it, I encourage you to go check it out. But I've chosen three that are pretty common here. The first is falsification, and that is presenting false, fabricated information as if it were true. And that's the simple kind of lying that we think of when we think of, like I used in the last slide of a kid getting in trouble and trying to lie his or her way out of it. The second is exaggeration, and we think of this as perhaps a lesser form of lying, and we might not even think of it as lying, but it certainly is, and that's inflating or overstating the facts, making things more interesting to listen to, is exaggeration. And then omission is leaving out important details in one's story, and this is a common form of lying, especially say in a court of law. Attorneys are trained to help clients to say just enough to not incriminate themselves, but still be somewhat honest. And so, yeah, this is omission. That's leaving out the important details. Now, this is something that I personally find fascinating, and this is, how can I tell if someone is lying? I've shown a picture here of a police officer interrogating an individual, and this is um, a very strong ability to be able to have, and the individuals who are able to detect lies, people who are very well trained, can tend to get a 90 to 95% accuracy rate, whereas something like a lie detector, a polygraph, is somewhere around 65 to 70%. So having specific training in detecting dishonesty can be a very powerful tool above and beyond a lie detector test. So these are some different things that you will see if someone is lying and perhaps they're not the greatest at it, and this will be inconsistent information. So asking the same question in different ways may yield different information. The individual may make speech errors, um, just say the wrong words, make meandering comments. They may change in pitch, their voice may drop, or become quieter, or may raise. Changes in eye movements, excessive blinking, or maybe staring, avoiding eye contact, sometimes deflecting down into the left or down into the right, indicating that they are searching for something in their memory. Also changes in body movement. The individual here has his arms crossed, which is more of a guarded, this is on the right, more of a guarded posture, and not wanting to make eye contact. Now here I've included a couple links for videos for professionals in detecting lies. I find this, as I said, I find this field absolutely fascinating. So check these out if you're interested in it. And on this slide, I have included a link to the a clip from the from the film Liar Liar with Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was a chronic liar, and I can't remember exactly what happened, but he wound up having to be 100% honest. And so this is in a board meeting. He tells all of his superiors exactly what he thinks of them, and it's pretty funny. So to summarize, being honest is risky. Being genuine and authentic is very risky. Being 100% honest. I would challenge you to consider where you're dishonest and what purpose it serves. I work with folks with addictions, and it is very common for them to be very good at being dishonest. And this isn't because they're bad people, but more that dishonesty is a very valuable tool when you are in active addiction to keep people off your back. Um, Being able to lie straight-faced, the better you're able to lie, the more you can get away with. And when folks are in active addiction, that's a byproduct. They just want to be left alone. So it does serve a purpose, and I confront this with clients, and I try not to give it a negative value, but take more of a neutral stance, which allows me to be objective and to see what function does dishonesty play in these individuals' lives. If you find that you struggle with honesty or with dishonesty, challenge yourself to see if you can go one day being completely honest. And what would that feel like? That's it. Have a great day.